Joel and Ethan Coen are two of the most original of contemporary filmmakers. Since their debut in 1984, they have revitalized genres. Film noir with Blood Simple, madcap comedy with Raising Arizona, and the gangster epic with Miller's Crossing. In 1991, their film Barton Fink won unprecedented Best Film, Best Director, and Best Actor awards at the Cannes Film Festival. Fargo is their latest work, a comedic thriller that film critic David Denby referred to as the dark side of a prairie home companion. It stars Frances McDormand as the pregnant sheriff of a small town in Minnesota, called upon to investigate a strange murder. She is here as well as the Coen brothers, and I am very pleased to have them here. Welcome. It's great to have all of you here. Here is my first question. This movie was not based on an actual crime.
Who says?
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
And this story is completely based on a real event.
Yeah, the story is the characters, you know, we weren't interested in making a documentary, and the characters are really inventions based on the sort of outline of events. Yeah. So we invented the characters, and they're really sort of our creation and the creation of the actors who played the parts.
So Steve Buscemi and all the Frances and all these terrific ensemble company that you have put together here, in a sense, made their characters what they became.
Yeah, I mean,
more so than in the vision and ear of a pen of a screenwriter.
Well, I think it's probably the same sort of combination as in most of our scripts. We imagine the characters a certain way when we're writing them, and we often write for particular actors. I mean, we've actually are tending to do more and more of that as we make more and more films.
As we did in this movie for Frances's part, and the part Steve Buscemi played, and the part Peter Stormare played.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's a combination of our sort of imagining them a certain way, and then when the actors come in and they begin to really embody the parts, when you start rehearsing, you know, we almost, I think, kind of let go of it at a certain point, and it becomes the invention of the actors who are playing it.
Frances, we're going to get to you. Hang on. Mm-hmm. Tell me, what is it in your eyes that make you guys original and different? I mean, when we say Coen Brothers, everybody knows exactly what kind of film we're talking about. We know, in a sense, that it's going to have a certain quality to it. What do you think it is, and what is it that makes you different as filmmakers?
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, we're probably the worst people to ask that.
Probably.
I mean, as far as we're concerned, what we're trying to do is just something different from what we've done before. So
each time out.
Yeah. I mean, just for the sake of variety, just in the interest of keeping life interesting for ourselves. So to the extent that there is anything that the movies have in common, we're not aware of it. We sort of try to avoid it, in fact.
Yeah, and it is always, it has been strange from the beginning to be sort of considered so aggressively idiosyncratic in a way. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't true. It's just that from our perspective, it's always been sort of a strange thing to consider, or a hard thing to sort of see from the outside. I think for the reason Ethan was saying, you just kind of approach each story on its own terms, and you try and tell it the best way that you can sort of imagine, and you don't think about it sort of in terms of it being strange or quirky.
Were you a fan of their work before you married one of the Coen brothers?
Well, they didn't have any work when I met him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I met them on their first film, Blood Simple, which was my first film. So we all kind of started doing it at the same time. After a week, I was a big fan.
You were a big fan?
Yeah, big fan after working with them for a week.
Was it their work, or?
It was a really unique experience in that probably most of the people on the set, on the crew and the cast, I think Emmett Walsh, who was an actor in the film, he was the oldest person on the set. So it was, you know, it was kind of a lot of people starting what they wanted to do professionally for the rest of their lives.
How is it different? I mean...
Well, I'd never done a movie before, so I didn't have anything to compare it to.
But you have now.
Theater. How is it different working with them? There's no tension on their sets. I mean, obviously, there's the tension if a major problem comes up, but it's kind of just like hanging out, and you end up with a movie at the end of it. But I think it's because they collaborate together from the very beginning of the writing process that everybody feels like it's a collaborative effort.
Tell me about your character in this movie.
What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, I've seen Fargo, obviously, and everybody is talking about it. I mean, it's a wonderful film, but you know that, and critics have said that.
I think maybe it seems strangely exotic to people because you haven't seen it on screen before.
Haven't seen what? No, Minnesota.
Minnesota. The landscapes, the
flatness,
dialect,
and
the music
and
of the dialect.
You can feel the coal. I could. You know. And the dialect was the most striking thing, the way people talk. Yes?
Yeah, it's a music, but it's in the script because they're from there.
I know, I was going to say, did you want to do the film about Minnesota, from Minnesota? I mean, is Minnesota a character in this film?
Oh, yeah, I think very much so. In our minds it was. I think, yeah, that was one of the big attractions to us about this. It was doing a movie about the place we grew up in. And also, you know, it's also talking about the sort of rhythm of the speech and the way people talk there. I mean, that's frequently a way that we sort of get into imagining characters when we're writing them. It frequently starts with the way they talk.
Ethan, set this up. This is a scene in which France's character, who's a sheriff of Brainerd, investigates a crime scene where this car had gone off the road and snowy strip of, you know, it's just morning sickness. Set up this scene for me before we take a look at it for the audience at home who haven't seen the film and clearly would want to, will appreciate the scene more.
Yeah, this is pretty much the introduction of Fran's character. Fran is the chief of police of a small town in rural Minnesota, and she's been called to investigate the site of a triple homicide, which we, the audience, have seen the whole sort of setup and the perpetration of the crime. A state trooper has been killed, and two people who we, the audience, know were just sort of innocent passers-by. And we see Fran here sort of reconstructing the crime from examining the scene.
All right, roll tape, here it is.
Here's the second one. It's in the head and the hand there. I guess that's a defensive wound.
Oh, yeah?
Where's the state trooper?
Back there, a good piece, in the ditch next to his prowler.
Okay. So we got a trooper pull someone over. We got a shooting. These folks drive by. There's a high-speed pursuit. Ends here, and then this execution type deal.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if our suspect was from Brainerd.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, from his footprint, he looks like a big fella.
You see something down there, Chief?
No, I just think I'm gonna barf.
Jeez. You okay, Margie?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just morning sickness. Well, that passed.
Yeah?
Yeah, now I'm hungry again.
Oh, there it is.
I guess I should have mentioned when I set it up that Fran's character is also 7 months pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Here, tell me about the writing process of the two of you. I mean, I think it was Sam Raimi who said that watching you guys work was like watching badminton, you know, that there was a kind of give and take, that the process
that
was
dull.
Dull, yeah. Badminton is not my favorite sport either.
It's a very genteel sport, isn't it?
Actually, it is true that in terms of writing, we do sort of, writers who collaborate sometimes split a script up, and one does one scene, one does another, and then somehow they graft it together. We, in fact, don't work that way, but just sort of talk each scene through back and forth.
And how much does the actor add to it, Frances?
Well, they cast really well. And what's interesting about working with them, as opposed to other directors I've worked with, there's not a lot of improvisation. You stick to the script because you want to. It's really well written. It's kind of like a play. So I think a lot of it has to do with the casting. And because they write for so many actors they know.
Yeah, but I think there's Nick Cage who said that it was difficult to work with you guys because you pretty much set the character that you wanted, you know, and then therefore you cast who fits, which, as you said, casting is a huge part of it, not so much having the actor define the character. Does that mean you agree, or does that mean
well,
it's
I think in
interesting?
Nick's case, Nick's got a, I understand why he said that, actually. In Nick's case, he's got such a fertile imagination, you know, and you know, all kinds of wild stuff occurs to Nick. At least this, this was a while ago that we worked with him, but all kinds of wild stuff occurs to him when he's on the set, and I think in Raising Arizona, to a certain extent, it was our job to kind of sit on that a little bit, which, to tell you the truth, I'd much rather sort of edit an actor than have to sort of kick him to get, to sort of stimulate that kind of thinking. It was a lot of fun working with him, but it was kind of editing.
But you'd rather do that than have to jumpstart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You also spend a lot of time, I'm talking a lot about process here, but it's interesting because you're different, a lot of time on preparation. I mean, you really, I assume it's cost effective, and that's part of the reason you do it, yes?
Yeah, I mean, we, come from low-budget filmmaking and are still practitioners of it. And, when we first started out doing Blood Simple, where we were doing a movie for less than $1 million, you had to be able to say to the designer, for instance, we need this wall and this wall, but not that wall. And in order to be that precise in terms of sort of shepherding your resources and getting the most bang for your buck, we really had to thoroughly sort of think out how we were going to shoot each scene. And to a certain extent, the way we work now is still kind of a product of that mindset.
Right. Also, I mean, in terms of doing, well, certainly not so much in the case of this movie, but our previous one was sort of heavily an effects movie, which you have to pre-plan, I mean, to a large extent, again, more than we had to in this movie, which was, there wasn't much in the way of effects, virtually nothing in the way of visual effects.
Did you, did your movies make money?
Well, it's, some of them have, and some of them haven't.
Who's keeping the record?
Yeah, exactly. As Art Bookwell said, I never would have sued Paramount if I knew it was a non-profit organization.
The last one did really poorly.
The last one did not. This one looks like it's going to do fine. Raising Arizona made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Barton Fink made a lot of money overseas and did not do well here. Blood Simple, our first movie, for the budget it was made on, made a lot of money. So on balance, actually, despite our sort of rap, most of our movies have.
Could you create a movie if you decided to go for the bucks? Forget film noir, forget all this stuff, forget genre.
If we were good boys.
Yeah, I mean, just come on, fellows, make me a movie that's going to make me some money.
So like Joel Silver.
Yeah, that's right.
Good friend
Joel Silver.
Yeah.
Just come on, man. I'm going to give you a shot to make a movie that'll make some money. Can you do it or not? Or are you hung up on all this little
in terms of big
art?
Money like that?
Are you hung up on art, guys?
I'm not hung up on art.
I guess it's still an open question, isn't it?
It certainly is.
But to us, anyway. Maybe some people have closed the books on it.
You haven't given up on the idea.
Yeah. No, we'd love to do that, to tell you the truth.
But
honestly,
the question is, could you?
I don't know. I'd like to think we could, but I don't know. So far, we haven't made a movie that's...
Yeah. Because it takes certain skill to be able to say to yourself, I'm going to make a commercial judgment at every point here. And therefore, you give, in a sense, you have to pass on what your instincts might be.
Right. That's frequently the case.
And if I had to do that, I'd be lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, I mean, first of all, one always hopes, and secondly, I mean, in terms
of
what...
It's a quirky business.
Yeah.
It's like notoriously idiosyncratic what works and what doesn't. And then thirdly, we do like to do different kinds of things, so maybe one of the experiments will sort of hit the jackpot in that sense.
All right. Frances, tell me, what do you like about this character, this sheriff?
She's good at her job. She's really good at her job. And I also really like the idea that, she was pregnant, but that was just a fact of her life.
Yeah,
she's got blonde hair, she's pregnant, she's just going about business. And I think that she's in her, she's extremely simple to figure out. There's not much complicated about Marge, but she's still surprising. She still surprises.
How about her relationship with her husband, which is a very interesting little take?
It's great. I think it's great. I mean, it's interesting because a lot of people have called it role reversals of a kind of a classic marriage situation, which I think is kind of short-sighted because...
She's the breadwinner, he's the artist.
Yeah, it's not that simple. They're both doing what they're good at. Yeah. John Lynch, that actor that played Norm, he and I had a kind of little actor story on the side, that they were probably both on the police force, And she was better at it. And so she moved up through the ranks because only one of them could in a small-town police department. And he got to go home and do what he really wanted to pursue, which was his wildlife artistry.
Even to getting it on a stamp.
Which is a huge, it's a huge accomplishment for him. So I think it's great. I think at the end of the story, they're doing really well.
I want to show another clip, but before I do, talk about ensemble characters. I mean, the people that come. Steve Buscemi is just terrific in this film, and others. Mm-hmm.
This really was probably more than anything else that we've done sort of an ensemble cast, because you can't really point to any one role in the movie as sort of carrying the movie or being the lead role in the movie.
Frances more than anyone else.
Frances more than anyone else.
She's just bigger.
She's pregnant.
It's true, Fran more than Fran is kind of the center of the movie, but there are all these sort of satellites that keep sort of spinning through the movie, and it really is sort of an ensemble cast, I think, more than the other stuff we've written.
Some brilliant performances. Set this clip up. This is, let me tell you where it is. This is where I'm Joey Lundegaard. Set it up for me.
This is where...
No, this is where they meet the two guys and he's trying to hire...
this is the beginning of the movie.
Beginning of the film. I should say this. These are out of order. This is before we know anything, before the scene you saw in which the sheriff discovers the scene of one of the crimes.
Yeah, this is the kidnapping scheme, which precipitates the events that we saw, earlier. But I don't think it needs much setup.
No, I don't either. No. Well, let me just set this up. What the story is about. This is a story of a man who wants to buy into a real estate venture, and he comes up with a scheme that what he will do is he will hire some people to kidnap his wife, because he believes that his wife's rich father will pay enough money for him to go ahead and make this real estate investment, which somehow will be the salvation of all of his problems. Here is the beginning of that film in which they are talking about that scheme. Roll tape.
I'm Jerry Lundegaard.
You're Jerry Lundegaard?
Yeah. Shep Proudfoot said...
Shep said you'd be here at 7:30. What gives, man?
Shep said 8:30.
We've been sitting here an hour. He's peed 3 times already.
Oh, I'm sure sorry. Shep told me 8:30. It was a mix-up, I guess.
You got the car?
Yeah, you bet. It's out in the lot there. Brand new burnt umber Sierra.
Yeah, okay. Well, sit down then. I'm Carl Showalter. This is my associate, Geir Grimsrud.
Yeah, how you doing? So, we all set on this thing, then?
Sure, Jerry. We're all set. Why wouldn't we be?
Yeah, no, I'm sure you are. Shep vouched for you and all. I got every confidence here in you fellas. I guess that's it, then. Here are the keys.
No, that's not it, Jerry.
Huh?
The new vehicle plus $40,000.
Yeah, but the deal was the car first, then the $40,000. Like as if it was the ransom. I thought Shep told you.
Shep didn't tell us much, Jerry.
Well, okay.
Except that you were going to be here at 7:30.
Yeah, well, that was a mix-up then.
Yeah, you already said that.
The character who comes in playing Joey Lundegaard is William Macy.
Yeah.
Right. It's a brilliant, wonderful performance, wonderful number.
Bill really wanted to say, it was going to be a blue Sierra, the car that he's paying him off with, but Bill really wanted to say burnt umber Sierra.
So you allowed him to have some range there, did you?
It's a little improvisation.
Burnt orange. Janet Maslin, who was frequently on this program, said that the title is about seeing how far the Coens can go. Fargo.
Well, boy, hadn't thought about it that way. We just, I guess we sort of down to a choice.
Is this a joke, she would say, with the audience or the film community?
Oh, no. I mean, we were, just in terms of the title, we were sort of presented with the, in our own minds, of, calling it either Fargo or Brainerd, which is the other town it takes place in, which we thought sort of,
Fargo was better.
Particularly, but no, I mean, this is, in a weird kind of a way, for us, it's just, as Ethan was saying, you kind of, from project to project, you look for something different to do. And for us, this was sort of an interesting experiment in a different kind of approach, a more sort of naturalistic approach to the story.
Barry Sonnenfeld used to be your cinematographer?
Yeah.
He's now gone on to be a director.
Right.
You have a new cinematographer who is?
Yeah, Roger Deakins, who's shot the last 3 movies that we've done. Yeah. Yeah, Roger's, and again, I mean, we worked very closely with Barry on the first three and very closely with Roger on...
How do you divide up responsibility?
Between the two of us?
Oh, it's pretty loose. I mean, we almost don't. I mean, we don't really in any formal way, in any defined way. It's just very fluid. I mean, it starts with writing, which, as I said, was very back and forth, and that just pretty much continues through the whole production of the movie.
Good luck with Fargo. Great to have you here. It's great to see you again.
Thanks.
My thanks to the Coen brothers and Frances McDormand. Coming up tomorrow night, Anthony Minghella. He is the director of The English Patient, also Michael Ondaatje, who wrote the original book, and Milos Forman, the director of The People vs. Larry Flint. See you tomorrow night.